Good day, third year students. We are reading Shelley's poem, Ode to the West Wind. And as you know, we have finished with the two stanzas of this ode, where Shelley described the west wind's powerful effects over earth and then in the sky. Today, let's continue with the third stanza. Thou who didst waken from his summer dreams, the blue Mediterranean, where he lay lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams, beside a pumice isle in Bay's Bay, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers quivering within the waves' intensity. In the third section of this ode, the speaker tells us about the west wind's effects on the ocean. The speaker in these lines personifies the Mediterranean Sea, who is here imagined by the poet sleeping during the summer season. And he says, Thou who didst waken from his summer dreams, the blue Mediterranean. He says, O west wind, you are the one who has woken the blue Mediterranean Sea from his summer dreams. The sea has been calm and quiet during the summer season, where he lay lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams. The sea is pictured by the poet as if lulled. Lulled means put to sleep. जैसे लोरी गा के सुला दिया जाता है. It is in the same sense here. So the sea looks like as if he is put to sleep by its crystalline. Crystalline means very clear waves. The crystal clear waves has gently touched the ocean and made him asleep. Beside a pumice isle in Bay's Bay, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers. Beside a pumice isle. The sea is supposed to be at rest beside the pumice isle. Pumice Isle is an island made by the eruption of a volcano in Bay's Bay, and this bay is situated at Naples in Italy, and this is a place of great historical value. So the Mediterranean Sea is imagined by the poet sleeping beside pumice near Bay's Bay, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers quivering within the waves' intenser day. And the sea is dreaming about old palaces and towers quivering within the waves' intenser day. The vision in the dream of the sea is quivering, is shaky, a shaky vision is shaking within the clear blue waves. All overgrown with azure moss and flowers, so sweet the sense faints picturing them. The palaces and towers in the sea's dream is now overgrown, is all covered with moss and flowers, so sweet the sense faints picturing them. And the sight of these palaces is so beautiful and sweet that sense faints. That means it cannot be pictured accurately. Their beauty cannot be described in totality. Thou, for whose path the Atlantic's level powers cleave themselves into chasms. While far below the sea blooms and the oozy woods, which wear the sepulchral foliage of the ocean, know thy voice and suddenly grow grey with fear, and tremble and despoil themselves, O hear. Now, addressing the west wind, the poet says, for you, whose path the Atlantic's level powers cleave themselves into chasms. Addressing the west wind, the poet says, for you, the Atlantic's level, that means the calm water of the Atlantic Ocean, cleave themselves into chasms. That means Atlantic Ocean breaks itself. Cleave means to break away, to break into two parts. The Atlantic Ocean breaks itself into chasms. Chasm means the gulf, a rift. Into chasms for the west wind, and this is also a poetic way of saying that the wind with its power disturbs the water, making waves through it. While far below the sea blooms and the oozy woods, which wear the sepulchral foliage of the ocean, know thy voice and suddenly grow grey with fear. And at the same time, when the west wind is creating disturbance over the sea surface, while far below the sea blooms and oozy woods, the vegetation in the depth of the ocean, that is sea blooms and oozy woods and sapless foliage, that means sapless means dry, juiceless, foliage greenery. So the different kinds of marine plants are hearing the tumultuous sound of the west wind and know thy voice and suddenly grow grey with fear, and they tremble with fear and despoil themselves, and in their state of horror and panic are they are like thrashing around and harming themselves. Oh, hear. Once again, at the end of the third section also, the poet appeals to the west wind to listen to him or to hear him. That's all for today's class. We will continue with the fourth and the fifth stanza in the next lecture. Thank you.